All right, so here's the beginning of my parking layout. I've got a compact space here and I've got an 8'4" space there. Let's say I want to make some copies of these. I could use the copy command. I can also use the array command. Make sure this is set to second. Click, move my mouse over, 7'6", and now I've got the opportunity to choose how many I want in the array. And once I make an array, it'll stay grouped as an array, which gives me the ability to say, oh, I want a few more spaces, or I only want a certain number of spaces. When you select this, though, you'll see it doesn't say parking space anymore. It says model group and array. If I want to take it out of the group, there's an ungroup up here. So this one has been ungrouped, but this one is still part of a group. And I can select all of these and ungroup them. I'm going to take this larger space and array it 8'4" and I'll put 9 there. The next thing I'd like to do is put a number or a tag or a label on each parking space. And we probably shouldn't use the word label in Revit because labels are special things in Revit. So let's just say I want to number all my parking spaces. I would go to annotate and then tag by category. You can see as soon as I go to select it, it says there's no tag loaded for model groups. Oh, wait a second. It's reading this as a model group because it's part of the array group. It's not reading it as a parking family. If I were to try to tag this one here that has been ungrouped already, it says there's no tag loaded for parking. So I'm going to need to ungroup them all before I do the tagging. And so I can select all of these, and it doesn't give me the option to ungroup them because one or more of them is already ungrouped. So then you might be thinking, well, how am I going to know which ones are grouped and which ones are not, and how am I going to select them? Easy enough. Select them all. Come up here to filter and then say deselect all the ones that have been ungrouped and leave me the model groups selected. Then I can ungroup them all. Now when I select them all, it tells me, hey, these are all parking spaces. So I'm going to select all of these also, ungroup them, and now all of them are just individual parking families. So when I come back to tag them, let's say I tag this one, it's going to say there's no tag loaded. Do you want to load one? Yes, I need to load one, but you'll probably not find the parking tag in your family content library here. So to solve that, we'll go to Insert and Load Autodesk Family. This takes us to the Cloud library. And if you come up here and type the word parking, you'll see there's a whole bunch of things related to parking. We want this parking tag. So I'll load it. When I go to tag this one, it's going to have that leader line and the parking tag is going to be a rectangular shape. I'd like to change my rectangular shape to a circle. So I'm going to double click on this, and that's going to open the tag family in the family editor environment. In order to make a circle, I'm going to create a reference line from the midpoint to the other midpoint, and then again from the midpoint here to the midpoint there. That'll allow me a place to snap my center of the circle. I'll go back to create and line and circle. Snap my circle 1/8 inch diameter. And then I can go back to the modify arrow or press escape. Put your mouse here, press tab to select the chain of all the rectangles. Click, delete. Select this and this to erase it. And now I'm going to load this into my project. And you'll see this one switches over to a circle. The interesting thing here is that the circle is blank, doesn't have a value or a number. If I select this parking family, you'll see the mark field is blank here. And that's interesting because if we were to create a wall and we were to place some doors in that wall, you'd see that each time I place a door, Revit automatically gives the mark value a number. So in this case 1, the second one that I placed is 2, the third one is 3. But Revit purposefully doesn't give us a value on any of the parking spaces for the mark field. It's all empty. All right, back to work. Annotate, tag by category. I'm going to turn off the leader line. Click here, 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 here. Okay, so I've tagged 4 of them. I can go ahead and erase this tag. If I select the parking space, I can come over to mark and give it a value of 1. Select this one, give it a value of 2. Select this one, give it a value of 3. But I can also select the tag itself and then double click on the question mark and put the number in. So it's probably a little easier to select the actual tag and edit that way than it is to select the parking space and go back and forth, left and right. Okay, and we don't need to do tag by category because tagging them one at a time is kind of a drag. If we go tag all not tagged, and we say I want to tag everything that's related to parking, I can click OK, and you'll see I get blank tags everywhere. Let's go through these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll go down to these, call this one 10, 11. Let's say, for example, I make a mistake and I actually give this one a duplicate value and I have 2 number 11s. I'm going to get this warning down here, but notice that Revit will allow me to do it. So that could be maybe a little bit of a problem. Let's say, I don't realize my mistake and I keep going. And so now I've got 2 11s, a 12, and a 13, and now a 14. And then at some point I realize, oh, I messed up. I've got 2 number 11s. So then I would think, okay, I better go fix it. So I come in here and I go, this one needs to be 12. Well, now I have 2 number 12s and I keep getting this error message and the boing noise happens, and that could be kind of frustrating. So there is the idea of maybe starting with the biggest number and working your way back to fix that mistake. So that means this should be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So if I go and make this one 18, and this one 17, and this one 16, then I can change this one to 15, and this one to 14. I'm not getting any of these duplicating error mistakes. And then I work my way from the biggest number back, and I end up with everything going 11, 12, 13, 14 in order.